On today's show, LeBron James and Los Angeles Lakers trade rumors? What? Is it time for the King and LA to split ahead of this NBA trade deadline? And if not, if the trade rumors are completely bogus, then what moves can the Lakers possibly make to get back to a place of title contention? And should they be holding on to head coach Darvin Ham? It's all coming up right here at Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up and welcome to another edition of Locked On NBA, the biggest stories with the local experts. I'm your host, Jackson Gatlin, also host of Locked On Rockets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Now, today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats and might not have the time or resources to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Joining us now is the host of Locked On Lakers, Brian Kamenetzky. You can track down wherever you listen to your podcasts and on YouTube. Just search Locked On Lakers. And Brian, it wouldn't be a trade deadline if there weren't 1,000,001 different Lakers rumors heading into the NBA trade deadline. Am I right?
Yeah, that's just how it goes. I mean, every player, even the ones that the Lakers have made abundantly clear that they don't want, like Zach LaVine, but pre-injury, are still linked to the Lakers just because that's how this works. There's just no other way around it.
Absolutely. And core among these rumors that we have to tackle right here from the jump is we got to figure out, well, what exactly does the future hold? Are these next 5 days, 4 days, whatever it is, going to be the last days of LeBron James as a Laker? Because we've got LeBron over here tweeting out hourglass emojis. Is it about him? Is it about the team? You know, what we got that. So some cryptic tweeting going on. We've got Brian Windhorst on his podcast talking about the fact that he doesn't know if LeBron will be in a Lakers jersey next season. And here's the big one. We have this gentleman, David Pingalore, on Twitter, on X, who shared a tweet basically saying that he thinks that LeBron James is at the top of the Lakers list to be traded, and that Rob Pelinka is looking for the right team, the right dance partner, if you will. Now, this man, David Pingalore, he's been linked to some reporting in the past with LeBron James, and he's nailed some things in the past. So this isn't just some rando guy coming out of the woodwork with some, clickbaity LeBron James tweet. So let's start right there, Brian. Are we at the end, potentially, of LeBron James's tenure as a member of the LA Lakers?
No.
Okay.
We are not.
Okay.
I mean, anything is theoretical. No. I mean, okay. I think the Lakers have a choice to make about LeBron. They have decisions to make long-term about what they want for this team and all that kind of stuff. It is possible. And, had they been blown out in Boston and blown out in New York and things were looking really awful, as they did going into the weekend. If they look that bad coming out, then maybe, okay, you start to entertain it, or LeBron's team leans on it. Rich Paul said, LeBron is not asking for it. And if LeBron doesn't ask for a trade, I'd be shocked at the Lakers. I also don't know, what is the market? The market for LeBron James doesn't come together in a week. Who's trading for LeBron? Is it back to Miami? If it's back to Miami, what are they going to give? There's just, I don't think LeBron is necessarily, like he was asked before the Knicks game, what is, do you know what you're going to do with your option? And he said no. And I think he would have said that even if the Lakers were 10 games over 500 instead of 1 game over. But, the long term, maybe you can make some choices about that. But there's just the practicality and the logistics of trading LeBron are so complicated. because remember, he's got an option for next year that the other team might not necessarily believe that he's going to pick up or whatever. It's like, I don't even know what the market for him looks like. The idea that, you could get 5 first rounders for, I don't really think that's true. You might be able to get that for Anthony Davis, who's under contract and playing MVP caliber basketball, but not for LeBron. So LeBron, I think, barring something totally extraordinary, will be on the Lakers post deadline this week. Who else is on the team is an open question, but LeBron, I don't think, is part of that.
It's so funny because I do think it's really tough, right? The Lakers are in this precarious situation, but this is the case with all LeBron James led teams, right? He's coming into, the player option on his contract. Does he stay? Does he go? How all in are you willing to go on a guy who could bolt this offseason if things do go, not according to plan in the back half of this season? But with where the Lakers are standing right now, right? They are, I believe, 20th in the NBA in offense, if I'm not mistaken, 15th in defense, or maybe I have those numbers flipped. No, I do not. I do not have those numbers flipped. 20th in offense, 15th in defense. It doesn't exactly feel like the Lakers are like a move away from suddenly being right back there in contention is the problem. So if you are the Lakers organizationally, what move or set of moves could you potentially make to then get back to a place? Because it feels like this is the pattern every season, right? Where maybe, not performing quite to expectations, then okay, what do you do? Do you fire the coach? Do you make a major shakeup at the trade deadline, get out the bad pieces, try to bring in the good pieces, and then do you have enough to make a legitimate good postseason run? So as the Lakers stand right now, that's kind of, I think, the question that they're faced with is, do you maybe explore that option of moving on from LeBron and seeing what the market might look like? Or do you go all in on a Dejounte Murray trade and, try to put the right pieces around LeBron and AD to win out this season?
Well, what makes Murray, for example, interesting is that you are really, a lot of this is structural. Like if you're trading for Murray, you think he makes you better. There's no question, because he gives you a point of attack defender to put next to Austin Reeves, theoretically addresses some of your defensive issues with that starting backcourt the Lakers have without it changes your offense, but you don't necessarily give away a ton of offense. Murray is a better attacker downhill, going, past defenders and stuff like that. But D'Angelo Russell is a better outside shooter, much better track record as an outside shooter, and is a better pure point guard. But even if you think Murray's defense isn't what it was in San Antonio, there is no planet on which he is not a better defender than D'Angelo Russell. So, you can start to improve him that way. But the biggest difference, I think, between Russell and Murray is Murray's contract actually keeps him in LA, whereas Russell, if he declines his player option, might end up somewhere else. And if he declines that option, I'm not sure the Lakers, given this sort of constant churn around him, necessarily want to bring him back. The real wild card here is Jared Vanderbilt could be out. He's going to be out for a minimum of weeks and could miss the rest of the season. And this blows a huge hole in the Lakers rotation, because Vanderbilt is their best defender, their best point of attack defender. And you can't upgrade. You can't fill the Vanderbilt hole and solve the backcourt problem at the same time. The Lakers just don't have enough stuff. They have Gabe Vincent, who is injured and a bit of an unknown quantity and only makes $11 million. You have Rui Hachimura, whose value, I think, is questionable around the league. You have the Russell contract, and you can only trade 1 first rounder. And now the Lakers too have the issue too, where they can't even trade multiple. It'd be hard for them to trade multiple players out without getting multiple players back, because they don't have a guy like Vanderbilt. Cam Reddish is out. Gabe Vincent is out. So they're in a really tough spot, is the summary to a very long answer to a question.
And look, I don't envy the spot that Rob Pelinka and the Lakers are in. It's a very precarious dance that you have to do, right? But between, do you mortgage what remaining assets you do have to try for one more push this season? Can you find the right fit? Maybe it's not Dejounte Murray. Maybe it's a couple smaller moves at the margins here and there. At this point, does Dejounte Murray look like the best possible bet for this Lakers team to get back to a place where they feel confident in a postseason run? Maybe not a finals run, but just a postseason run with LeBron and AD.
Yeah, maybe. I wish I had a better answer for you. I think they showed, this team has showed all season long that they, as LeBron said, they are capable of beating any team in the league on any given night. Yeah, I realized no Julius Randle, no OG Anunoby on Saturday, but the Lakers came in and won that game. The Knicks had won 9 straight. It's not like they were a team without confidence. They won on Thursday in Boston without either of their stars. They have beaten Oklahoma City. They've beaten Phoenix. They've beaten every team in the league. They've also lost some awful games, and that's why they're 26-25. So Murray, I think they pull the trigger on a Murray deal if they like the long-term implications of it. I think it's probably seen as an upgrade for this season, but more structurally, does it help them going into the offseason, into next season with what they know they'll have? Other than that, it's like, do you give up a lot of stuff for Dorian Finney-Smith? Could you maybe swing a couple second rounders for like Tyus Jones to make your offense and your backcourt, give you a few more options? Or, could you do something with Royce O'Neal, which it's not going to push you over the edge, but it makes you a little bit better without changing what you can do this offseason? Because the Lakers really can make a swing now, or they can make a swing in the offseason when they have 3 picks that they can trade. Right now, they can only trade 1. I think in the end, given how high some of these asking prices seem to be around the league when you look at the reporting, unless those asking prices come down, I think the Lakers will make tweaks more than they will make big transformative moves.
Well, we also know that every NBA front office likes to leak that, oh yeah, this distress asset that we have is worth 17 first-round draft picks, and we're not going to budge. We're going to dig our heels in. We want all those firsts for this.
Yeah, I mean, like even Dorian, two firsts for Dorian Finney-Smith seems like an incredible asking price until you look around and you see on the market who is available, and the answer is no one. I mean, there's really nobody on the market. It's, DeJounte Murray, it's Dorian Finney-Smith, it's maybe Alex Caruso if you have a ton, but the Lakers, I can't imagine have enough stuff to get Caruso, who I'm sure they would rather have over Murray. But like Chicago, Lord knows what they're doing in Chicago, but 1 pick, Julius Randle and Jalen, Hood-Schifino is not going to be enough to get Caruso away from Chicago. There's no prayer.
All right. We've covered LeBron, and you are firmly in the camp. He's not going anywhere. Lakers aren't making that move. Any number of other Lakers could be on the move ahead of this deadline if the right package is available. Maybe DeJounte Murray becomes a Laker. Maybe he doesn't. Last guy here for you, Brian, that we got to talk about. Are we past the point where moving on from Darvin Ham makes sense? What was the record on when oh my goodness, when Nate McMillan got the outs in Atlanta and Quinn Snyder got brought in? I think that was the latest we'd ever seen a head coach fired in NBA history, quite possibly late into the season. So, I mean, we're kind of approaching that territory now at this point with Darvin Ham. So does he stay? Does he go? Is there an improvement that could be made in the head coaching department, aside from just the roster improvements that need to be made ahead of the deadline?
The short answer is yes, they could make an improvement. I have been very disappointed in Ham because I thought he did a nice job last year under very difficult circumstances, and when given a better roster, did better things. This year it's not been an easy hand. I kind of put it this way, like Darvin is taking like graduate level classes and he's just failing them. Like, it's not what he's been asked to do is not easy, but he has not performed well in that task. And I don't think that the locker room has a ton of faith in him. I do think that they have probably come to a conclusion that the Buss family is not going to let him go, short of LeBron and Anthony Davis going into Jeannie's office and saying, this guy's got to go. He's got the replacement would be internal. Now with, especially with Doc, Doc would have been the prime candidate for something like that, but he's obviously already in Milwaukee. It would probably be Chris Gent or Phil Handy on an interim basis coming from that staff. They would play better because that's what always happens when you fire a coach, is you get, some kind of bounce, whether it's a real bounce or a dead cat bounce, would remain to be seen. I do not think they're going to do it. I think they probably should have And I hate calling for people's jobs. And I generally am deferential to coaches because what they're doing is very hard. He's just not done a very good job. And I don't think the important people in that room have a ton of faith in him. That said, if they have had opportunities to make it abundantly clear that they are over him and they are not going to play for him, and they haven't done it. They played hard in Boston. They played hard in New York over the weekend. Like, they've had opportunities to get Darvin fired and they haven't done it.
What moves, if any, will the Lakers make ahead of the NBA trade deadline? Is Darvin Ham going to be the head coach for the rest of the season, or could we see yet another late head coaching swap in this one for the Lakers? You're going to have us covered for all that and so much more over at Locked On Lakers. Brian, thanks for stopping by Locked On NBA with me.
Anytime.